How you guys doing? Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to Ravens Nest. It's your man Kurt here. So obviously we all know Marty Mornhinweg coming back to Baltimore. Harbaugh did his closing season press conference today. He went about 45 minutes. And in there he announced that Marty Mornhinweg will be coming back as the offensive coordinator for the 2018 Ravens offense. And we know just the other day in the locker room, Joe Flacco said, well, he pretty much hinted that he would like to have Marty Mornhinweg back as the OC. Now, let's get into this a little bit. So, last season, obviously, we know offensively, and I have to say last season because the season has come to an end, and it is the offseason, and this season is not continuing this Saturday or Sunday in the postseason. So, when you hear a guy continue to be on the coaching staff and we didn't make the postseason, it begs the question, why? Well, number one, Joe Flacco, like I said, hinted that he wanted him back. And number two, the Ravens want some continuity on the offensive side of the ball. Because we think about a lot of the times, we had Gary Kubiak. He had a short stint with us. We had Jim Caldwell. His stint was short as well. But the last guy that really had a long time with the Baltimore Ravens at offensive coordinator was Cam Cameron. And we all know his tenure came to a very controversial finish. Remember, he got fired in the middle of the season. Then we hired Jim Caldwell and really went all the way to the Super Bowl that season. And eventually Jim Caldwell got hired by the Lions. Well, now he's gone. But anyway, offensively speaking, last year, up and down year. We start off the year so bad on offense, it just made everybody just want to look away and not look at this offense. The defense is really what kept us in line all season long. But late in the season, in December, Joe Flacco and the offense kicked it in. Some people thought that maybe the back injury was hindering Joe in the first half of the season. Maybe that was the case, but something got in him. He started to throw the rock. Alex Collins' production went down a little bit, but it didn't matter because Joe Flacco really was in tune with this offense. Now, despite what this offense did in the second half, they were second in scoring over the course of about the last 8 games. Despite what they did, they still finished 29th in the NFL in passing yards per game with only 189 passing yards per game. Let that settle in for a moment. 189 passing yards per game. That's really bad. Now we did finish 11th in the NFL in rushing yards per game with 116. Despite that fact, Marty Mornhinweg threw the ball more than any other football team in the National Football League, which I believe he threw the ball 679 times on the season. Are you kidding me? And they ran the ball the third least amount of times. That's not Baltimore Raven football. That's not our brand. When you say play like a Raven, you think about play hard-nosed defense and smash-mouth offense and run the rock. That didn't occur last year. Marty Mornhinweg, a good offensive mastermind, just doesn't fit the Ravens. He just doesn't fit our system. He doesn't fit our style of football. When you got Alex Collins back there, who almost rushed for 1,000 yards, you have Buck Allen, you got to run the rock, especially late in December. He did not do that. He did not run the football enough in order for us to put together winning football, especially when you got a good defense on that side. Well, a good defense that needs better coaching, but we'll get into that definitely later. But at the same time, Marty Mornhinweg did not utilize his biggest strength enough in Alex Collins. I know defenses started keying in on him as the season went on, but at the same time, you got to do better than that. Joe Flacco on the season finished with 18 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. That's not good numbers. That's not a good ratio. He turned it around at the end. It was like 9 touchdowns to 11 interceptions at one point. So they were able to turn around that ratio, but that's not good enough. But here's the thing, Ravens fans. I know a lot of us want to see John Harbaugh back. A lot of fans in the nest want to see him back. But at the same time, you can't have it both. You want Harbaugh back, but you don't want Mornhinweg. That can't happen. We know what Harbaugh's MO has been for the last 5 years since Ray Lewis retired. It's been mediocrity. Almost every year. So you can expect Harbaugh to bring back Mornhinweg. The only way you can get rid of Mornhinweg is to ship Harbaugh out the door with him. That's the only way you can have it. So you either have Harbaugh and Mornhinweg or you have no Harbaugh and no Mornhinweg. You can't have it both ways. There's no possible way. So you have to make a choice. And the Ravens make their choice. They want to stay mediocrity. They want to stay the same. You say, oh, it's going to get better. Well, that could be the case, especially if we got a better defensive coordinator. But at the same time, how many years do we need to keep evaluating this team? This season, same thing. Finished 9-7, missed the playoffs. We think about the year before that. Defense gave it up again. Finished 8-8, missed the playoffs. Year before that, I believe it was like that was the year we went 5-11. We had all the injuries. We can't stay healthy. But at the same time, we must stay optimistic about the Baltimore Ravens. We must stay optimistic, especially with Chuck Pagano possibly coming through the door. I think he can fix this defense. We'll see. Still frustration in Baltimore for sure after a very disappointing year. Anyway, thank you guys for watching here on Ravens Nest. I always appreciate it. I'll talk to you Ravens fans later. Ravens fans, have a Baltimore Raven day.